Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 386 of Spittin Chiclets, presented by Pink Whitney from our friends at New Amsterdam Vodka here in the Barstool Sports podcast family. What is up, everyone? Hope you're enjoying the playoffs so far. Tons of goals, hell of a goalie duel between Dallas and Calgary. Bunch of entertaining games, and one team has already done so. We'll get to it in a little bit, but let's say hi to the boys first. Mr. Granley, producer, we'll go to you first.
Boys, the Bruins are down, but they're not out. They may be out by the time some people listen to this, but they're down, but they're not out. So I'm not too worried. Bees and 7.
Oh, keeping the faith.
RA's already waving the white flag online.
Yeah, second period of game 2. I'm like, this team is not winning the Stanley Cup. And yeah, they haven't done anything since Biz to show me they are going to win it. Just tough going right now.
I think a completely different team at home, and we can get in that to that later as far as the line matchups. I'll let you snap it around first. Tough start for me. I started fucking choking on my own tongue right as we got going there. So I'm battling through.
Are you crying, have allergies, COVID, or you're just like, what's going on over there?
As soon as we went off the hop, I swallowed my tongue. So tough start for me, -2. And holy fuck, we got some shit to talk about, boys. This has been absolute chaos.
Where you coming from, Biz? I don't recognize that background.
I'm in a prison cell. I smashed some shit in the lobby after Trouba elbowed Crosby, and now they got me in an Atlanta prison. No, I'm just at the hotel at the Four Seasons, man. Just been chilling. Went to actually the Atlanta Braves game last night. The owner of the Braves that knows Wayne, obviously. Wayne knows everybody. And he got us tickets, so we went down. Myself, Talk, and then I met their mascot. And what's this rift between Big Cat and the Atlanta Braves mascot? The mascot posted a picture and he's like, "How could you?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?"
I'm not sure. I know he's a Cubs fan. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. You Whitney?
I have no idea. I did respect Talk saying same nose as you, though, Biz. Thing had a snout on it.
He did have a fucking snout on him. So, it was a great game. And in the midst of that, like towards the second half of the Leafs game, we made our way back down into the box. And I was just glued to the television because some great hockey going on, and we're gonna get to that in a little bit. But hey, how was everything in NYC? It looked like a blast. You guys had Army pop by.
Yeah, it has been a blast. Murls is with us, joining us once again. We've been doing live streams Monday, Tuesday. We had the Rangers crew on Monday. We had Murls, Motts, the Rink Shrinks come down. Feidelberg joined us as well. Good time. But let's say hi to Murls.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Army got called in to do the Pittsburgh radio. So he came down to meet for a beer, and we basically just kidnapped him, said, you're on the live stream. You don't have a choice. Get on this boat. And he's calling the wife on the FaceTime, and she's like, where are you going? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, no more phone calls, Army. Like, you're on this live stream. We kidnapped him 4 or 5 hours. It's great to see him. He's a character. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's going Jason Bourne off the grid. Sorry. He throws his fucking his phone in the Hudson. Just like exactly. Avery's going in there when they get sent back.
Biz, Murls and I were chatting today. I haven't hung out with Army 10 years, like maybe his wedding. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the wedding.
And this guy is exactly how he was 20 years ago. The funniest, craziest. I go meet Murls before we're gonna walk over to take the ferry over to the Hoboken house, and he's like, "Hey, Army's coming over." I'm like, "No way." Comes down immediately. He's like, "Look at you guys. Holy fuck. How you guys doing?" So happy. Like I said, Saskatchewan people. So when we get beers, he's like, "Oh, I'll take a bourbon." Whatever. I'm like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a bourbon guy now." So we have some of those. So he's saying, like, we're talking. I'm like, "Army, you got to come back on the show." He's our first guest, correct?
If not one of them, yeah.
And one of the fan favorites, like one of the best guests we ever had. And then he's always worried he's going to say something that gets himself in trouble. So what does he do? He decides to come to a live stream where he actually could say something that gets him in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks to the bourbon. Thanks to the bourbon for that decision.
Buddy, his memory of all these stories, we have to get him back on. It was so fun hanging out with him for a night. And yeah, we met for one drink at 5:30. And next thing you know, it was like 2 a.m. We were saying goodbye to each other.
My quickest Army memories were at the Arena Bar and Grill in Wilkes-Barre, and 50% discount. So, I'm fucking at the bar being the bar star. And there's, I think, 13 to 15 Jaeger shots on the bar that he bought. And I was like, "Oh, I could do all those." And he goes, "Do it." I don't know why the fuck I said it. I dubbied every single Jaeger biz idiot. Within 12 minutes, remember those back couches with the big screen where we used to eat dinner on like Mondays and Tuesdays? It was chill. Oh, dude, I yucked all over the roof. They had to send me home in a cab. It was just absolute mayhem. But other than that, though, I could. It feels like a month ago you guys were on the live stream with Jens and Motto. That must have been a good time. Did you end up hitting the links with them?
Yeah, today I got to shout out my buddy John Bedford. He's a member at this Ridgewood Country Club, which I think they had the Northern Trust a few times. They have the US Am this year. So me, Mott, and Ross, we went over and played. Me and Ross beat the tits off Bedford and Motto. But it was a hell of a day. Place was beautiful. I made 4 birdies, 2 bogeys, and a double. I shot even. I birdied the last 2 holes. I was like, it was a big boost in confidence in my golf game. And I barely slept, and my body's not even moving last night. So it was a hell of a day for me to get a little confidence on links. But yeah, we had a great time with these 2 caddies from Ireland. We were just giving them nips and McGillicuddies. So we had a couple that we brought in. The course we bought drinks at, obviously. But this course, amazing. And the caddies were great kids. So we had a good day.
Well, that makes me excited because we currently don't have a sandbagger in the bank. We did the Joe Watson and I'm drawing a blank. Todd Fedoric. We did his. We dropped his a few weeks ago, but we got to get back on the links. Yeah. When do you think the next time we're probably going to film one is?
I think if you go to the Western Conference Finals for TNT, we'll be there. If you have to stay at TNT, we'll do 1 or 2 at the Cup Finals that we'll all be at.
Okay, cool.
So we'll I don't know how many. Whatever I hope Colorado's winning it.
Yeah. So I don't know how many people we've told. I don't know if we mentioned this in the pod. So currently the plan is to do the first 2 rounds in studio, and we're assuming that ESPN, who still has to decide which conference finals they want, they have not done so yet. So it's backing us up a little bit. Hopefully they decide soon. We get the other conference final because obviously they have the big TV right deal, but we'll be traveling and going on the road. So I've never been able to experience the on the road broadcast. We were supposed to do it at the outdoor game in Minnesota, but we never did it. So this would be the first one. And then having you guys there would be fucking awesome. So I'm praying that it's Colorado, Calgary. And I'm assuming you're expecting your Edmonton Oilers to be there, but
you want to start there?
Well, I mean, guys, before we move on from the live streams, got to talk about Stu Feiner. I mean, he's the reason you don't have a voice right now.
Yeah, for anyone wondering,
legend.
This is proof because I'll catch heat. Oh my God, your voice is disgrace. How you sound. You're 39 years old, Brunelli. I literally was at one live stream with Stu, and I had a great time. And he sat right directly next to me to my right, and just that. This happened.
Yep.
We left at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, as the late games were ending. And already I go, look at this. It's not me not sleeping and partying. It's just Stu.
You have to talk loud.
So basically hanging out with Stu on a live stream is the equivalent to going to Detroit
and Vegas.
Let's call combine back to back on the PJ 4 days each.
No, it's sitting next to Stu voice wise at a stream is equivalent to Vegas for 4 nights. Middle seat Spirit Airlines, stopover Frontier Airlines.
Yeah, and you got to get in a ring with Detroit. Tyson.
Then three nights in Detroit and 2 nights sleeping on the street outside the casino.
Hey, okay. So actually, before we get into hockey, I know some of you listeners are from Canada, maybe not the biggest hardcore Barstool fans, but there was a pretty significant incident that ended up happening. Now, do you guys think we should talk about that now? And I guess I'll let you break it down, Whit, because you're probably the closest to Hank of all of us. And talk about a backstabbing. I'm trying to think
if I want to do this now or at the end of the show.
Let's save it for the end then. But stick around, folks, because we're sending out the hashtag Team Hank, as well as Tom Brady, as well as Julian Edelman. I'm imagining Bezos is going to spend like a rocket ship with the Team Hank fucking hashtag on it at some point here on SpaceX, if that's not even the other guys. But we'll get to that later. Let's get with the hockey talk. Do you want to start out with your fucking Oilers, Mr. Jumbotron, man?
I will. Let's talk. RA, do you want to lead us and bring us into
we
where
actually
the series
did
is at?
We forget another huge story that you were going to lead off with, RA.
What? Yeah, I didn't know if we wanted to do Trots first, the Trots bomb. Well, I mean, that's huge news.
I mean, that is just shocking to me. Shocking.
These hoes ain't loyal.
No, it's Lou Lamorello ain't loyal. How about that, Jim? That was a really good rhyme.
Lou Lamorello ain't loyal.
I think if you're that talented, you can make any words rhyme. But Lamorello, he brought him in after winning the Stanley Cup. which I thought, and I think most people agreed, was bananas that Washington moved on from him. And he's a free agent. They'd already promised Tom Brady at the time. It was not even there now, but a nutso move when you finally get over the top, over the hill, and win the cup. So he goes to Long Island, where I believe they were the worst, if not the worst, the second worst defensive team in the NHL. He completely turns the franchise around. They go to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. They're one game away last year from knocking off Tampa, one goal away, basically. And they get rid of him. And when I saw it, actually, I hadn't checked my phone. I saw a text from Frankie. He goes, they fired fucking Trotzy. I'm like, what the hell? Because it made that little sense to me. Since then, I've kind of heard that there was a disagreement on where the team was headed between Lamoriello and Barry Trotz. I just find it hard to find any sort of reason that he would think it's after the season they had and the COVID and the injuries and the shit luck. And you can have a shit luck. They were
a goal away from being Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, that was the cup final. Montreal was a joke. But listen, after that season this year, where it was so many bad bounces, to decide that the coach was the issue and it was time to move on, I personally think is nuts.
It's not performance-based. There's no way it's performance-based. It has to be about the direction of the team in the future.
So, RA, you probably know more about this than anyone. Julian, he was the head coach of the New Jersey Devils. I'm not sure exactly what year, but they were in first place heading into playoffs about 3-4 weeks before playoffs. And apparently there was a disagreement on maybe some coaching decisions that were being made by Julian at the time. And Julian stayed firm and said, listen, you're the GM. I'm going to coach. And Lou Lamoriello fucking canned him and took over the bench.
With 7 games left in the season.
7 fucking games left in the season. So it's weird because, like, you see incidences like that, but then, like, you hear from guys who played for Lou Lamoriello and they say he's, like, the most loyal guy.
They love him.
They love him. They love him.
I was chatting with somebody who's worked with him for a while now today. And, like, this guy loves Lou Lamoriello. Like, and everyone who works for him and the guys who play for him, there is some disconnect between him, his employees, and his players, and fans like us who are like, what is wrong with this guy?
Right.
Would you agree with that?
Completely agree. And so as soon as it happens, right, we don't know what the fucking conversation was in the meeting. Apparently in the press conference, the word offense came up quite a bit. So I think it's pretty well known that Barry Trotz has a very, very defensive system. He's able to instill that in a skilled group in Washington to where they were able to go on and win the Stanley Cup. But obviously, in my opinion, because they also had the skill in order to get the goals when they needed them, and they figured out how to play defense to enough degree to where they could, sustain playoff hockey. Years and years had gone by where they tried to play the run and gun style in playoffs and it didn't work. They found their coach. They got their guy. Bingo, bango. I will say with the Islanders, it is to a level of like New Jersey Devils, but almost even worse, suffocating, boring hockey where in today's NHL, you got to also find a way to generate enough chances. And I don't know if that's actually being done under Barry Trotz with the group of guys he has there. Now, another thing, I don't know how much say that Trotz has in guys in the lineup. Now, you look back to the Devon Taves trade, I would say probably easily the worst trade of last offseason, 2 second-rounders for a guy who probably most people had making Team Canada. Like, that was a colossal fuck-up trade. If he's getting information from Trotz on whether he likes to use him or not, and that's basically why they got rid of him and he was the decision, maybe those types of opinions in the meetings that they're having weigh in effect on the fact that he might have gotten canned. Another thing that comes to mind, I know I talked in the past about maybe the conflict between Barzal and Trotz and how much offensive reins he can have. Tell me I'm a fucking moron, but I think that has some type of impact in the whole type of decision that was being made. Because if these guys, and Whit, correct me if I'm wrong, we're very naive to think that Lou Lamoriello didn't meet with the entire team after the season and talk to each guy individually what they thought and where they thought the team was going, although Lou said that had no bearing in the decision. Do you fucking believe that shit?
I feel like that guy doesn't lie. I feel like he doesn't really care, and he makes up his mind and makes decisions that he doesn't really care if people disagree or agree with him. I mean, think about what the story you told about the Devils. Like, nobody in their right mind would have told them that was a good idea. So maybe talk to the players, and we'll never know if what they said, or they even did say things that they didn't necessarily love playing for Trotz, and that got to Lou to decide to make a change. From the outside looking in, though, they had injuries and all these other legit excuses this season. And next year they could have come back with a very similar roster and gone on a run. So here the question is now, is Lou has such a successful career that you can't judge him until we see who he brings in and how next year goes. If next year's awful and they're healthy and they have a bad start and it's the same thing, it's like, what were you doing? Right?
Oh, completely agree. And even going back to the fact that, like, he's obviously got a very honest path. I was just kind of like trying to figure out what would lead him to end up making the decision. Right. And yeah,
we'll never know. That guy's a steel trap. What's the password? Keith, the worst name in the English language.
What do you got, all right?
In his media appearance, he said the team needed, quote, a new voice. And he said he didn't consult with anyone, didn't speak to the players about the decision. He only told the owners they were going to do it. Of course, it's Lou. They let him do it. He said, I would rather not get into any of the reasons. This decision was not primarily made on this season. So, I mean, it must have been something lingering long time that's been there. So either way, it's a shock. A guy with the third most wins all time after Bowman and Quenneville. So who do you think is going to replace him? I wrote a few names down here. Babcock, current assistant Lane Lambert.
Mr. Borelli. No, I'm serious. You guys think, I got a tip.
You know where Trotz is going? You know where Trotz is going?
Vegas.
Unless they win the Stanley Cup, Florida Panthers.
You think so? Well, hey, what about
What about Edmonton or Toronto if they don't get
fuck
out?
You. Hey, shut the fuck up, Murls. You're on the Toronto bandwagon. Sheldon Keefe's going to get an extension after this run. So shut your goddamn mouth.
I mean, every team's going to want this guy.
Yeah.
Goes without saying. But he's going to basically have to end up deciding, do I want to go to why wouldn't he decide to go to a team that he considers a contender?
And I'm pretty sure one of the worst rules in the NHL is going to factor into this. He still has a year left on his deal. Somebody has to like reach out to Lou, and then they have to negotiate on what they're going to get in return to get him as a coach.
When you fire, yes, you're still paying their salary.
It is the stupidest fucking rule in the NHL, other than the 5-minute major call.
What about if two Montreal Boston rivals? What if Boston fired their coach? They're still paying the guy, and they do not want Montreal to have him for some reason. It's like I can kind of see where that.
Well, that would have to have been signed in a non-disclosure agreement, or not the non-disclosure. What the fuck am I talking about? Basically,
you're in jail.
Basically, you would have to like sign that previously. But I guess going back to Lou's decision, he seems like the type of guy then to wake up with a gut feeling and then just, hey, act on it. And he's like, hey, I made the decision. It's final. Let's move on.
Well, Biz, maybe we can send him a little Pink Whitney care package to cheer him up, because Pink Whitney helped fuel our last 2 weeks of live streams at the Hoboken House. Make sure you grab some to pair with your favorite squad if they're still playing. If not, grab some anyways. You can serve it as a chilled shot or mix it with club soda. Either way, enjoy our 5 times distilled vodka infused with fresh pink lemonade flavor. Gee, who whacked back more nips, you or Murls this week? Holy Christ.
I mean, we were trying everything to rally the Bruins.
Rally nips.
I mean, it got to the point where we were using them to kill penalties because they were just getting, every call was going against them, and we had to kill penalties. And if you do a nip, it worked. But
you were doing it for shot on goal at one point.
You're sacrificing your.
No, that was ours.
Hey, I'm anything for the team. I'm a team guy.
Either way, go out and grab some of that good old Pink Whitney. And now to the playoffs. Some wild stats. 6 out of 8 series were tied after 4 games, tied for the most in a single round in NHL history. And of course, we know 79% of Game 5 winners go on to win the series. And those 6 Game 5s took place Tuesday and Wednesday. So no shortage of excitement. And on the biggest drama with Edmonton Thursday, after the Kings shut them out 4-0 in Game 4, you come on the Jumbotron, get the crowd all pumped up. Adrian Kempe ends it 112 in OT. Now, have we confirmed, was that an Aaron dangle to you, or was that some other thing?
100%. 100%.
I have watched that clip more times than people have watched the Zapruder film is that the Kennedy assassination?
Yes.
There is 0 fucking chance. 1, he originally goes to, I think, shush the crowd. No. 2, he then maybe decides to be like, I can't hear you to the crowd. 3, it's my left ear getting the earring. He's on the right side. There isn't a chance in hell. And I watched it fast motion, slow motion, everything. It is 0.01 seconds after he scores the goal. He is not thinking of me. And if he is, I fucking think we got this thing at 7. If I'm on his mind that closely after scoring a game winner to go up 3-2 in a series.
Well, you obviously can't.
You are a joke if you think he was talking about my
Did
ear.
you not read his lips? He pointed right to his bum chin and says, "You stupid idiot. Look at that stupid bum chin." And then he pointed right to his ear. Did he get the wrong ear? Yeah, but what side was the camera on, stupid? Right on the glass side. And did you see those Edmonton Oilers fans on the glass side? On the glass side. On the other side.
What does that have to do? What does that have to do?
Well, he had to expose his ear so everybody could see it to know what he was talking about. Now, did you see those 2 Oilers fans sprint up the stairs?
No.
As soon as
right out of town?
Buddy, Usain Bolt. Just beat that traffic, buddy. The quickest you've ever seen anybody leave their seats. Now, that 4-0 shellacking, what a response by the Kings. And then, I mean, Whit, the big boys, like, I know they get the points and the power plays buzzing, but there was a couple mistakes there, specifically on that overtime goal. He ends up burning McDavid, ends up burning Keith, and
Kane, who's been fantastic in the series, he fell over, and from there it was kind of like, you could say he burnt McDavid. McDavid's kind of standing there flat-footed, and he has all the speed going. He burnt Keith. Keith had a tough play on an earlier goal on a turnover. There's just so many turnovers in Game 5. Game 4, I'll go back to. Talk about a cold take. I came on here screaming about how we were going to end this thing in 5 games. That night they played a disgraceful start. And for a team that when Woodcroft came in had good starts, their starts were a strength of theirs. Their starts have been horse shit. They got outshot 20-10 in the first period in LA Game 4, and then 16-5 at home in the first period Game 5. So you wonder, like, what? And I think Grinelli said to me earlier, like, why are they losing? I'm like, well, their D aren't great. I mean, Smith, I would say last night he probably wants a couple of those back.
Oh yeah.
But the thing about this series, and no, granted, there was 2 blowouts. I wrote down. LA has 2 power play goals in the series. We have 2 shorthanded goals. Our power play is 7 for 17. By the way, they're basically 7 for 13 because 4 of the power plays were in the blowout games. We didn't even put out McDavid and Leon. So with those stats, it's Smith's .920 save percentage and Quick's .880, and we're down 3-2.
Wow, that is an anomaly.
Yeah,
that does
so
not
it's
make
like
any sense.
It's so frustrating to watch this team because they cannot play 1-goal games. They literally win games 6-3, 4-0. Granted, they lost Game 4 for another. You know what I mean? When it comes down to 2-1, 3-2 close games, they do not win. They don't have it in their DNA. They don't have the players to get that done. And now we're missing Nurse, and I'm fine with the suspension. I mean, they got him with a head. It's a headbutt, right? It's a 1-game suspension. Now we're missing him. It is an absolute disaster to play this way. And I really don't have anyone that I'm truly like furious with. Like, there's no guy costing them this series. It's just overall poor play at the worst possible times. So we're here now we're not dead. If we win Game 6, I'm very confident about Game 7. Seriously. But the way Quicks looked, it's just, we need to get a better start. You cannot start this way.
How about the swing from the way you started the last podcast tonight?
Well, I had a voice too then.
Hey, we got to give some props to Jonathan Quick. 10 career playoff shutouts. That's number 1 all time for U.S.-born goaltenders. Awesome. So stick taps to him. You mentioned his save percentage, but he's came up big in the games that they've won. He ended up getting yanked in the one, then get put back in, and then he's been pretty solid since. The other thing too is, like, you talk about these guys who have stepped up all season long for the LA Kings. Well, they end up picking up Troy Stecher at the deadline, and with the injury to Doughty, man, he's been pretty fucking good. He's been, making some pretty big plays at some pretty big times. And that's just kind of been the theme of this LA Kings team all season. Like, wait, you just listed off all those stats. If you would have listed somebody off those stats at Game 5, after Game 5, to somebody who hadn't watched the series, they might think it's over 4-1. Like, that's just how crazy the LA Kings season has gone. Now, you got to also mention Deneau, and you see that headbutt. That's just the simple frustration it is to play against that guy. he puts people in pretzels, man. And you know, I doubted his offensive ability when he was playing in Montreal, but all of a sudden he comes over to LA and he's got a little bit more help around him and a better power play. And all of a sudden, man, this guy's, you know, definitely putting his name on the map, you know, in these playoffs. So I don't really have much else on this series, guys. What do you got?
What do you got, Murls?
The Oilers have depleted my bank account, but it's not over. Win one game, like you said. Win one game.
There we go.
Oilers just called up Philip Broberg, first rounder, Swedish guy, played a little bit up this year. Bruins got it done without McAvoy. Nurse isn't that valuable. We're still all right. We're still alive.
I'll take the positivity.
Phil Deneau got the score bet cash. I don't know if you had him, Murls. He scored a goal. LA won, a little plus 300 action. Hopefully some of our fans in Ontario had that. These are crazy stats, though, Biz. The Oilers have somehow lost 5 straight playoff games when both Draisaitl and McDavid score. And the Oilers have never won a series after going down 3-2 in game 5. So
what'd you think of Draisaitl's game last game, Whit?
Yeah, I mean, he was certainly not very visible early on, but when you score 2 goals to tie it up, it's kind of hard in the end to dog him. I mean, some people would really argue me there and say you need to be more complete. You need to have a better first 2 periods. But when you look back at the story of the game, he had 2 goals. They lost 5-4. I mean, I don't know. Fuck. What do you want me to say? He's not the reason.
Yeah, there was just a couple times 5-on-5, like, you know, the guys get caught in behind him and they end up potting a goal. I mean, like I get what you're saying. Like his offensive ability, specifically on the special teams, makes up for the mistakes he's going to make. I guess, yeah, you get one, give one, right? So what do you think the issue is if one thing can improve, and how do you feel going in game 6, no Nurse? I talked to a couple guys.
We're on to game. We're on to game 6. I'm not. I just went over it. We're on to game 6. I'm basically Bill Belichick listening to you try to rattle my cage right now. We're on to game 6. Oilers win. We force a game 7.
All
right. Meanwhile, a few provinces east, another superstar is 1 game closer to exercising his team's first round demons. Biz, with 6:06 left in the game, Austin Matthews converted a POP for his third of the playoffs. That gave the Maple Leafs a 4-3 lead that held up, and a chance to play the winner of Washington, Florida. Very entertaining until he's already got 5 playoff game winners. Biz, this is a great game. They were down 2-0, battled back. Campbell's been outplaying Vasi. What's your take on that one, brother?
I think I deserve a ring if they do go on and win it for that coaching I did on the podcast. You know they're listening about the POP, Whit, because normally Marner's trying to put that top corner, but they're learning. They're developing their game. We didn't get a chance to talk about this one. Did you guys see the clip with Nylander going to the corner and then completely bailing out?
Yeah. What a bounce back game, though.
I had a lot of self-control in not sending something out, basically calling this guy out. That's as tough as it's going to look. Now, Whit, sometimes when you're playing against maybe a meathead and you're going to a puck battle in the corner, a guy like me, you tend to let that guy even go get the puck first. I could see sometimes where a fan might be like, oh my God, does that defenseman ever look soft? But sometimes the play is assuming that I want to go in and fucking bang a body and create momentum. You're not going to give me that opportunity. That's at least what Talk said. And I said, buddy, I played against skilled defensemen before where I was hoping that I was going to go in and get that hit and create the momentum for my team, where they were like, no, go ahead. And the minute I got it off my stick back.
Well, they're like, let him get it. He'll fumble fuck it in the corner himself. We don't even need to play defense.
Right. But in a case where you're William Nylander and you're in on the forecheck and you're a forward, you better go get that fucking puck first. But since then, how about a bounce back? He ended up having 2 goals in that third period. Some people say, it's junk time. Who cares? You get his confidence going. The one guy I was worried about going into game 5, though, was Tavares. I'm not saying he was playing horrible, but the game before he played 14 minutes. I don't think he got sat. It was just like, hey, man, like you're just not getting it done on the score sheet. I was confident. I make that score bet. He goes back home. And listen, that start to the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs, they had 9 shots 33 minutes into that game. They'd already had 4 fucking power plays.
I know.
4
I remember saying that to you, bro. They only have 9 shots right now.
And at that point, I was like, oh my, and hey, shout out to Jack Campbell. I know I was getting a little bit nervous last podcast about him, but what a bounce back. You mentioned him outplaying Vasilevsky. He keeps the Leafs in it that first 33 minutes. And then all of a sudden, boom, they just end up catching that wave. And Well, I tell you what, man, watching that offense and rhythm and when they're fucking going and that building rocking and the people outside, that was one of those moments where you're like, oh my God, they finally got their playoff confidence. I actually truly believe that they are going to make it past the first round, beat the champs, and they're going to go on to do more damage beyond. That was the turning moment. And the way that they ended up blowing it, but then fucking still containing it and keeping it together, and then to go back, and then specifically Mitchie Marner, because I thought on that McDonough goal, I thought he needed to eat that on the wall. It ended up going back down, and then it ended up popping out to the slot, and then I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. That's when I let out the big fuck on Twitter. But to see him go down, do the POP, Pablo Selly fucking after the goal, buddy, I was so jazzed up. Murls.
Yeah, I'm fired up. I'm on it, but it's going game 7.
Okay, thank you.
Tampa is what, 17-0, and Vasilevsky 16-0 or something ridiculous.
Wait, Biz, do you think they're winning game 6?
People are gonna laugh me off stage here.
I thought people are listening right now. Yes or no?
Yes, but I guaranteed it last time that he was going to lose in the back-to-back. So I don't think he's getting 17. I think that the first 2 lines are humming right now. They need a big fucking moment from the bottom 6. And it's probably going to come from the guy who apparently in the locker room sparked it all.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Jason,
speech.
Health bomb the first 2 games of the series. He came in game 3. He looked awesome. And apparently there was a moment in the locker room when I'm sure the boys their arseholes were puckered up about this fucking tight. And he stood up and he said his piece, and halfway through that period, everything changed. So RA, I don't know if you have any more quotes about it or whatnot, but I know I've been rambling, but I am fired up.
Yeah, they didn't really get into what he said. They tend to keep that stuff private, but whatever he said obviously worked, because they come out fight up second period, came right back, ended up winning the game. But I want to ask you, Murls, is Tampa finally out of gas after winning 2 cups in a row and just getting to this point? Are they just spent, or are they just getting beat by a team with more gas?
I think Toronto is a great team, and remember what happened in game 4. It was complete opposite. They dominated Toronto. We thought the series was over the other way. So I think Tampa's going to dominate them again tomorrow, and then it's going to be the game 7 at home, but the crowd is going to get us through. We're going to get to the next round.
I'll say this, Biz. Memes is here with us. We love having memes here. He said, they're gonna win game 5 at home, and then they're gonna lose 6 and 7. I guarantee it.
That was really good.
Holy
good.
shit.
So
I got a little impersonation. I know what Spezza said in the locker room. He's like, Austin, you want to fucking crush all the Instagram fucking OnlyFans models in the world? You bring this town a Stanley Cup. Mitchie Marner.
He's like, I already am.
You want double the amount. Mitchie Marner, you want more brand deals and to do more cringy commercials online? We're going to get you double what you're getting now. Jack Campbell, I'm going to get you the biggest pussy cat you've ever seen in your life, man. And then they went out there and they fucking stormed back. Spezza. Hey, another guy too, Morgan Riley. That was a big goal too. Woo, woo, woo.
Also the save. It kind of just hit him, but it's good positioning. But the save on Kucherov right before the Matthews goal by Campbell was huge, right in the shoulder. It was a pretty good shot, kind of labeled for top right. And yeah, I mean, I'm nervous. I cannot lie that the Leafs. The thing about this series is, it's like I mean, they win this series, they could go on to the cup. Like I'm not gonna say they could go on to win the cup, but if they win this series and they won the Eastern Conference, I would not say I'm surprised. But they just got that one more win to get, and that's the hardest one, they say, Biz. That's the one I couldn't get in the Stanley Cup final. I couldn't get it in the Calder Cup final. Like I could get it in Quebec, though. That one final one.
We got swept in the Calder Cup, Ryan.
We
didn't win a single game.
Coop mentioned it at one point, but the parade to the penalty box in this series has been nuts.
Yeah,
every game
it's weird hockey.
Yeah, it's been weird games.
Coop also said we're not really making them earn it. We're kind of giving it to them, which basically calls out his team
material.
Before the next game. Also, Tampa's 16-0 record after a loss since the beginning of the 2020 playoffs will be put to the test tonight on the Gulf as the Leafs look to move on for the first time in 18 years since the last first round victory.
That city's going to go bonkers if they get it done. Bonkers.
All right.
Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go.
All right, moving back to the games that took place Wednesday night. Pittsburgh had a commanding 3-1 lead. They were here right across the street, Madison Square Garden. Jake Gensel, man, this kid He gets 3 for $1 in the first period, puts the Penguins up 1-0 with his 6th to the playoffs. He's the first Penguin to ever score a goal in the first 5 games of a series. That's pretty crazy considering their history. He has the 7th best goals per playoff game of all time. Mario Lemieux, Mike Bossy, Rocket Rashad, Cam Neely, Nathan McKinnon, Wayne Gretzky, Jake Gensel. Pretty crazy stuff. Anyways, Pittsburgh got a 2-0 lead. Couldn't sit on it. The Rangers finally woke up. I don't know if they figured out Louis Domingue all of a sudden or if they just played their best game of the series. Either way, they come back with a raging 5-3 victory. A couple guys in the room hit their bets. It's 3-2 series back to Pittsburgh. Are they shitting their pants a little bit now, Whit, or what?
Yeah, and there's one reason that they're hitting the panic button, and that is the health of their leader, captain, and legend, Sidney Crosby. And I have been all over the Fugazi Rangers fans, just like an entire group of clowns. What an absolute clown group of people, Rangers fans. But you know what? Rangers Twitter, because then everyone says, I swear to God, I'm a Rangers fan, and I agree with you. Rangers Twitter sucks. So maybe it's a faction that I hate.
Yeah, and you ruin your chance with Margot Robbie.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, that was over before there was even a chance at it. So I'll say Crosby being out, and the issue I have with it is I don't think there was a ton of intent by Trouba. No. But the fact of the matter is his elbow hit his face. So it doesn't really matter what the intent is. In my opinion, it's you have to be responsible for what part of your body, if your stick hits someone, if your elbow hits someone. And I don't think he went looking at elbow in the face, but in the end, it was an elbow to the face. And I think he will get disciplined for it, or he should. But with him having a possible concussion, it's just terrifying for any Penguins fan to see. Grinelli had a good question. Has he had a concussion since the issue that turned into the neck issue years ago? I don't remember one. The point is, like, if he's out, they could be really fucked, because Louis Domingue, who's done a good job, like I've kind of said, it's Louis Domingue. He's not an NHL goaltender. And that win tonight by the Rangers after going down like that, and the feeling that they have in terms of momentum, it's got to worry Penguins fans. And
the fact that Murls, I guess I'll hand it over to you quickly. As soon as Crosby went down, you felt like you saw a different Rangers team. It was like a light switch had gone.
We were talking before the game. We said they have not been hard on Crosby at all. If you watch the series last year against the Islanders, they're all over him the whole game. Pajot's checking him the whole game and making it really hard on him. The Rangers have made it so easy for him. He looks like Crosby at 27, 28, dominating every game. Yeah, we don't want to see him get hurt there. It's brutal for everybody. He was playing. I had him on my Conn Smythe look, and yeah, it's a dirty hit, I guess, an illegal hit. But like you said, he wasn't trying to do it. I don't think. Happening. But now Pittsburgh's in deep trouble, missing their best player, missing their best D, and with a third string AHL goalie.
Despite how much I hate Rangers fans on Twitter, they're going to be shocked by this. I think that his stick gets caught between his leg and then his arm just comes up. And the one angle I've seen with, I don't think that there's going to be any supplementary discipline. Say supplementary.
Yeah, I shouldn't. Maybe you don't suspend it. I think you might get fined. You don't think there'll be anything?
It just looked too like natural where he got his stick caught and he was like, trying to defend him and it just came up quick. Now I'd have to get the other angles, but the only one that I saw on Twitter, I don't think it's going to do enough work to cause him anything. And if it's a fine, who gives a fuck?
No,
the guy makes $7 million a year, and now the Penguins are without Dumoulin's their third best defenseman.
I think they're second.
Their number one.
Well, better than Letang.
You think he's better than Letang?
All around, if you're trying to win a hockey game, yeah.
Well, there you go. They're missing their first and second string goalie, and now they're missing their best center. And I'll tell you what, I know Malkin's been hot and cold, and at his hot moments in this series, he's looked like the Malkin of old. But when he was gone, he's a second line center. He couldn't match what Sid was bringing to the lineup when he was down that second half of that game. Like you saw him cross. Did you see him cross the blue line, running into his own guy, and then slow on the back check? He's just. I think at this point in his career, he's playing second fiddle, and we're not going to see that Malkin who used to elevate his game when Crosby was out of the lineup. So I'm going to say that if Crosby doesn't come back to the series, boys, I think they're going to lose in 7.
Gino also took that horrible penalty when he creamed Rooney right in the face with the cross check. 7.5 minutes left, very undisciplined penalty. They didn't end up scoring on it, but he's one of your best players. Now he's in the penalty box. So, you don't expect that from a guy who's been around the block this many times. Yeah. Also, Mike Sullivan, now the winningest coach in Penguins playoff history after the Game 4 victory. And Tristan Jarry, he returned to the ice to take shots Monday. No word on a potential return at this time. So Any final thoughts on?
Yeah,
on this?
I have one here.
Oh,
So for those who didn't tune into the live stream the other day, the bet is now official between Biz and Avery that Avery will jump into the Hudson River if the Rangers lose.
Throw him in.
We'll throw him into the Hudson River if the Rangers lose, and Biz will go on to TNT in an Avery Gretzky custom New York Rangers jerseys.
He's got to send it to me.
He will.
And he said he'd put out his Instagram and Twitter and stuff. So this is definitely a good win for Avery if they can get it done. But Biz wearing a jersey compared to him jumping in the Hudson and growing a 12th toe is 11th and 12th toe is a fucking way worse punishment for him.
I'll go even one further. I'll ask the producers. I'll put an L on my forehead for the segment. This is
like adding years onto your jail sentence you're gonna get from smashing the lobby up in Atlanta.
Well, I'm trying to fucking get the fans going, Whit.
If the fans want to get in on this, you can bet on the series on Barstool Sportsbook, and the Rangers are plus 195 right now. The Penguins are minus 240. So if you want to get in on the fun, I'm already invested on the Rangers. So
look at you, Murls. So are you going to double down at this point?
Ooh, I got no money. I got no money left after the Oilers last night.
Oilers are hosing us.
Well, if you want to check out a game in your town, check out Game Time. Game Time is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, and their app makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. G, how many times have you used them this playoff so far?
I've used them once, and it was a great Bruins regular season game, but I'm going to a Bruins playoff game because they're going to keep going on. They're going to keep playing, and I'm going to Game Time when I do.
Game Time cracked the code on how to score deals at the last minute, and there's no better time to take advantage than playoff season. I'm going to be back home this week. Hopefully the Bees are still alive. I'll try to snag some tickets for them. If not, grab some Celtics tickets. But it's so easy. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. The best part, you get $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app, go to the account tab to create a login, and redeem code Chiclets for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but give it a whirl, especially if you want to check out a game, especially if your team's down 3-1, you might get some cheapies, but always a good way to grab some tickets. But moving right along here.
All right, can I mention one quick thing? And you
Certainly.
guys are going to kill me for this one. I had a couple stats here, though, for Game 6 for the Leafs. Austin Matthews in the playoffs at home, 18 games, 12 goals, 22 points. On the road, 18 games, 3 goals, 8 points. So drastically worse on the road. He's got to be the guy to step it up. 11 third period goals so far this postseason for the Leafs. I believe they only have 8 in the first 2 periods. And last thing we forgot to mention about the Leafs, what do you make of that guy, Steve Simmons, asking fucking Sheldon Keefe after the game, why would you start your worst defenseman in this building? And he goes, well, who's my worst?
Not surprised. He's going to say not surprised, but the way Keefe handled it was unreal.
Oh.
That was so nails and professional. Like he just kept it quick and just basically with saying so few words said, you're such an asshole.
Grally, do you want to roll it quick before we roll out of here?
Sheldon, why would you start your worst defenseman in a building knowing it was going to be this loud and this crazy?
Who's our worst defenseman?
Justin Moore.
That's your opinion, I guess.
So do you not agree? I mean, it's just that's handled with class. That's exactly how, instead of arguing with a guy who's hoping you argue with him, Keefe just like, what a buffoon.
I mean, I would have enjoyed like a chair toss or something. You know, we could spice up this first round of playoffs in a big way, but definitely a classy moment by Keefe.
And that's why people love Steve Simmons. During our Monday stream, the Florida Panthers were inches from being down 3-1 to Washington. Garnet Hathaway's empty net bid just missed Sam Reinhart. Washington comes back, ties it, wins it in overtime. Biz, before we get to the game tonight, I mean, I know you and talk arguing the other night. Should he have gone for that? Should he have played it safe? What was the deal on that?
Okay, so it's hard for me to argue with Talk because he's like a borderline Hall of Famer. 3 times Stanley, and he'll beat the fucking. There's a lot going against me here, folks. So we've seen a few of these empty netters so far. 2 by St. Louis, right? Perron ended up shooting it all the way down the ice, scoring. Same with Tarasenko in 2 games where they were able to seal the victory with a couple minutes left, and they took the shot. You know, they risked it. I also look at the situation in Washington against Florida a little bit differently for 2 reasons. If you watch the play again, Ekblad's in the direct line of the net. So from a shooter standpoint, like it's a little bit more distracting than just having the wide open space. And if you look where he was on the ice compared to where Ekblad was, and he did not have a good gap on him. I would say Hathaway was barely past the tops of the circles. And then the other defenseman was pinched in a little bit on the board side. So he has an entire gap area, and he's also not a skill guy like those other two guys I mentioned. I'd bet my hard-earned money on the skill guys scoring from 150 feet than maybe the fourth liners. So he could just chip it to where the red line is and then create a foot race with Ekblad. And then in the meantime, his teammates, where they, on the above, they have the times in which they've been on the ice. Most of the line out there had been out for a minute. So you're just trying to live the fight another day and get the change. And then also in the fact that you're also chipping it to the board side, the perfect place to get that change. That's where you want to place the puck when you're going for that change, right? And I'm not saying you're going to get all 5 guys off the ice for Washington, but at least you're going to get 2 or 3 fresh bodies on. You go for it. They end up losing the draw. And what happens? Florida scores their only man advantage goal of the entire series. They're 0 for 15 at this point now, and they give up that empty net goal. I think it's a bonehead play. Talkett says all the skill guys and all the guys who won shit were texting him and saying, I agree with you. You fucking end it there, where I'm like, although I think that Gretz agreed with me. So when you get Gretzky on your side, you're like, well, it outweighs like basically the rest of the Hall of Fame.
Oh, well, Oates agreed with me.
What they're teaching the kids now is that if it's more than 20 seconds on the clock, go for the goal, because even if you chip it out, they're going to come back with it and shove it down your throat with a chance anyway. So if you have the chance, it's the stats. There's numbers. I'm not the stat guy that you with, but I know what the coaches at every level now are teaching them. Definitely at the NHL, they're telling them if you get a chance, end it. And yeah, maybe that was a different situation. You're out there for a long time, but if you've been getting told, try to end it, you do it out of
every team switched to this. Every single team.
That's fair. But you know what also happened? When they do the shift in baseball, we were at the ball game the other day.
Illegal now, I think.
No, next year it's going to be illegal. Okay. So this Hall of Famer, he was in the booth. I want to say his last name was Jones. He's retired now, but still works for the organization.
Chipper Jones.
No, it wasn't Chipper Jones. Maybe I got the fucking name wrong, but he was a center fielder for the Braves.
Andrew Jones.
Maybe. Okay. So Andrew Jones, and his kid's going to go first overall in the MLB.
Yeah, that's
draft.
Andrew Jones.
Okay.
That's
there you
Andrew
go.
Jones.
Thank you.
I think he hit home runs in the World Series at 19.
So they were doing the shift, and I'm like, why don't they just bunt it to the open space? And he goes, honestly, buddy, they stopped teaching it. These kids don't do it. It's like all they want to do is hit. And so he went back to the old school way. And then that's what Gretzky referred to. He goes, I'm fucking old school on that. You don't fucking go for that empty net and create the icing. You chip it into that open space. You create the foot race, and at least you get fresh bodies on the ice. And if you have a good enough forecheck or neutral zone forecheck, you don't allow them easy access to the zone, and you even force them to dump it in and then fucking right back out. Like, what do you mean? You've been fucking playing the whole game like that. So I don't know. I completely disagree. It's a great argument to have. And I think what was the other argument we had last week about the NHL and decision-making?
Too many pinches or bad pinches.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that was the one. But this one, obviously a little bit more debatable. And I don't know.
This one is similar to all right, correct me if I'm wrong. Baseball, they don't bunt anymore. I know you just said bunt. No. Yeah. I know you just.
I actually thought you were like chirping me for my analogy.
No, because you're talking about when the wide open, the third baseman is there. I'm talking. They don't even do it to advance the runner from first to second to give up an out. No. It's kind of similar in terms of they looked at stats and they decided that going to end it is the thing. The argument is what you said is legit, because maybe if it's Game 7 of the Cup final, you're not going for it, right? And I know it's like crazy to say because this is the playoffs, but I just think the game has changed and guys are now not even thinking twice, like Murls said.
So basically, I'm Don Cherry of the podcast. I'm just a fucking old talking head.
Don't you
be going for the empty net.
No, I mean, it could happen.
You people better not be going for the empty net.
Either way, huge swing for the Caps. But then tonight, Wednesday night, they get a 3-0 lead. Look like they're back on the catbird seat. Florida, I think, with 29 comebacks this season, they end up coming back down 3-0, end up winning the game 5-3. Carter Verhaeghe, this kid's been unreal so far. I think he got 5 or 6 goals, had 5 points tonight. Giroux sealed it with the empty netter. Biz, were you able to catch much of this game tonight?
Yeah. So one quick thing we glanced over was the Oshie hit. Did you guys want to go into it or not?
I think it's been long enough now where we can kind of all agree after no discipline, it was a clean hockey hit that unfortunately Bennett's stick was up kind of like vertical in front of his face. Oshie caught him in the chest, the stick and what looked like his shoulder after rubbed into him, and it was a huge hit. I got nothing else to say besides playoff hockey.
Playoff hit, playoff hockey. Oshie's been an absolute fucking beast. 2 goals in this one that you just mentioned, RA. But look at,
I think he just had 1, didn't he? Or no, did he have 2 tonight?
Yeah, he had 2 tonight. Yeah.
Shit, I'm looking at game. I'm sorry, buddy.
No worries, buddy. No worries.
Looking
We all
at
make
game
mistakes.
4 box score still.
Hey, we all make mistakes. I go for the empty netter when the fucking goalie's up. But I'm wrong. I said that the comeback Cats, who did it 29 times in the regular season, set an NHL record. I said, you can't play like that and do it in playoffs. Well, what do? They go down 2-1. They score the fucking 6-on-5 goal. They go down 3-0. And much like the Penguin series, I thought this thing was wrapped up and done. I thought they were toasted, at least in this game. And then they ended up fucking running into Carl Verhaeghe. Is it Carl Verhaeghe?
Carter.
Let's start calling him Carl.
Attaboy, Carl. Buddy, he's been the best player for the Florida Panthers. And if you watch that game, like, he put the team on his back. That goal that he scored off that Barkov pass, did you see that hustle that he had down the ice? He blew by a defenseman that was a zone ahead of him. And the plays he's making and in a timely fashion, like, if he doesn't get that first one, who the fuck knows? So he got them going in game 5, and the comeback Cats do it again. And I'm wearing the big fat fucking L on my forehead. Just
There's
like
6. Did you say that 6th 3-goal comeback of the season? That's nuts. That's when you count that many, you're down 3 goals. You're usually packing it in. You're like, oh, we don't have it tonight. To do that 6 different times is crazy.
Yeah, I'm now they're up 3-2, man. Like I said, that missed empty net, absolutely huge swing in the playoffs. Probably the biggest swing of the playoffs thus far, right? It's got to be.
And
right?
I got to give credit to Whit. We were over in New Jersey, so we could live bet on the Barstool app.
Yep.
And we put in a live bet on the Panthers. It hits, and PFT wants to strangle you.
PFT said I was responsible for the loss. I said I'm rooting for the Caps, buddy. I'll root for them once it goes to OT. But I had this vibe. I was buzzing that night gambling. I knew Pittsburgh was going to win, and I said Florida's going to tie this thing up. We got good odds on that. Yeah. Barstool Sportsbook, and we ended up, and then PFT still is mad.
Much like some of those Edmonton stats you rattled off, I would definitely say that the Florida Panthers would be down the series if you told me they would be 0 for 15 on the power play to start. That is the one thing that got it over the hump for them this year, and the fact that they just can't figure it out. And wait, was it you who mentioned? I ended up saying it on the broadcast. You said towards the end of the year they had the 5-man forward unit, and then when playoffs came around and Ekblad was back in the lineup, he's now in that defensive role there. So it's 1D 4 forwards.
But then I think they went back, didn't they, Murr? Didn't we notice that they went back to 5 forwards?
Yeah, he was on it at one point.
I don't know what exactly is going on. It's hard to keep up, you know what I mean, with all these games. But the fact that the power play started that slow is crazy, and it's almost unacceptable. It's like you cannot produce at a clip like they were and have it go that cold, that quick. Because when you look back, if they are to somehow lose this series, which I don't think they will at this point, but you won't win next round without this power play getting better.
That's why I think that they're going to end up scoring some power play goals in game 6. They're going to wrap the thing up, and then all of a sudden they're going to they're going to get over that little bit of adversity at the beginning, and then they're going to start to roll.
All right, we'll see what happens. Let's slide out to the Midwest, man. Minnesota had home ice for the biggest game in years, but Vladimir Tarasenko's natural hat trick in the third made it a moot point as the Blues grabbed the 5-2 win and a 3-2 series lead as the series heads back to St. Louis. The game was tied at 2 heading into the third, but the Blues, they just took over that game in the third period. I didn't even see the puck in the other end too often. Tarasenko, man, he had been quiet all series, rips 2 off in about, I think, a minute and a half. Then he gets the empty netter. Kirill Kaprizov, he's the only one getting it done for Minnesota right now with 6 and 7 goals in the playoffs, absolutely tearing it up. But here it is, Minnesota. They pretty much sold the farm to go for it all this year, and they're 1 game from elimination. Biz.
Who do you start next game? You going back to Flowerwit?
At this point, yes. I think it's just at this point in the series, they've won 2 games with them. You got it. You can't quit on them now. I know the option's there, but you've already decided, right?
Yeah, no, I think
it would be like the Oilers going to Koskinen next game in LA. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
not trying to say Smith's flurry, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's just such a weird switch to make this late in the series.
Yeah. And then I guess you look at that breakdown in coverage, beginning of the third period, which is, that ended up being the game winner. And that was the one that Tarasenko got when he just slid in and he was all alone in the slot, just be able to walk in and pound one in. So I don't really have much. I wasn't able to catch a ton of that game as I was watching the others, but man, it's going to be hard times the next 2 years if Minnesota loses in the first round. They got all that cap circumventage, or not circumventage. What do they got going on?
Circumcision. You've been calling it circumcision. Yeah.
No, I know, but they're losing cap money. They won't even be able to spend it because of the buyout.
The buyout penalties on Suter and Parisi are just crushing them.
Did you guys hear those interesting comments from Jason Arnott on the Cam and Strick one?
No.
Oof. Yeah, he had some pretty choice words for about Suter in his time in Nashville, and comparing him to Shea Weber. So I don't know. I never play with the guy. You'd have to listen to it to form your own opinion. And I mean, Cam and Strick, they do a great job. They get great interviews, and that was a juicy soundbite.
I'll have to check it out. Going back to Kaprizov, he set the team record for most goals in a series with the 7th. The record was 5. Gabrick and Walls had it. Everson said after the game, he wills the team. He just didn't have enough guys willing alongside him tonight. But if we had 20 of him, we'd be competing our butts off a little better. So calling out the guys as well. And Zuccarello, Fiala, Hartman, Foligno combined just 1 goal in the series. And looking at the Blues, they're looking to get out of the first round for the first time since they won the Cup. And their experience is certainly helping right now. They stuck Nick Leddy and Bobby Bortuzzo back in the lineup. Looked like it solidified their D a little bit because they have been banged up. So either way, St. Louis, 1 game for moving on.
Hey, and boys, Binnington back in there, feeling the jam.
Yep.
That's a guy who can get it done. And this is the St. Louis back end that's a little banged up too. So the fact Minnesota's got to at least push this to 7, or that's an embarrassment.
We have so many things that could go on. Like right now, it looks like LA is going to win. It looks like it's just, there's so many different things can change game to game in the playoffs. But saying that, if St. Louis is to move on, Murls has already made the statement, they are the team who could beat Colorado. And why get ahead of it right now? But it's like Colorado, that might be their toughest test. I think if they get through that, they roll into the Cup finals after the second round. But St. Louis is going to be a beast because they do not let you move through the ice freely. They just clog it up. They're big, they're strong, they're physical, and they're even missing Torrey Krug. So hopefully, if they do move on, it's one of those legendary series between the Avs and them.
All right, see what happens. I'm going to talk to you about Ward's Smelling Salts for a second. Ward's Smelling Salt is an ammonia inhalant that gives you a powerful adrenaline rush. As you saw me give an example a couple weeks ago on here. You see hockey players using the salts all the time to get revved up for the big game. Well, Ward's Smelling Salt is bottled, and bottled smelling salts are about 5 times stronger than the little ampules that they break up on the bench. Gee, I know you've been busting these down quite a bit lately. I say you're whacking those down the stream too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what got me through the streams.
It's the first company to make smelling salts formulated for cold conditions like the rink. And bottled smelling salts last about 2 months versus the single-time use packets. Awesome for team use. You can pass around a bottle for the whole bench, whatever works. Give Ward's Smelling Salts a try at hockeysmellingsalts.com. They're on sale there right now. Give them a try.
So I want to talk about the Rangers D going in to that game. And we've been talking about how fucking horrendous they were. Expected goals allowed, they were 16th. Scoring chances allowed, they were 16th. Slot chances allowed, 16th. Slot passes allowed, 16th. And rush chances allowed, 16th. They were dead last in the playoffs in every category after 4 games in that series. So you talk about like their MO all year. They just give up all those high quality scoring chances. It's like they just play river hockey.
Yeah.
So now if Shesterkin's, and listen, I know I kind of wrote the series off now that Crosby's out of it. I mean, the fact that Shesterkin seems to be a little bit broken that's like the one thing that where you could maybe you could pull one off. You can maybe catch him on another bad night and be able to hang on, and maybe Louis Dubing fucking has a horseshoe up his ass. And
I honestly think though, if Sid's out, that they won't win another game.
Yeah, I feel like that just takes out their heart.
It did in this game. It took out their heart. The team, it was a totally different game once he was gone.
The guy is possessed right now. And that team without him, it was so different. And granted, in the middle of the game, you have that.
Your buddy's hurt.
Yeah,
you're like,
it's such a kick in the nuts. And
brutal.
And before the next game, you can plan an entire day and pregame skate knowing he's not playing. It's different. But then once the game starts, it's like, can they beat the Rangers without him? I don't know. You're right though. If Shesterkin could suck a couple more in, they could get one of the two.
The emotion on the bench though, when you basically have your heart ripped out, it's just you're shook.
Like if anyone gets injured, it's shook. Let alone like, oh shit, that's our whole team.
And
you're basically looking at your Stanley Cup chances go through the exit gate.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking to Army last night. We're like, Pittsburgh might actually make it to the finals. Maybe we'll get a Pittsburgh trip and we'll be able to come to your house, have a barbecue. And then just like that, one little injury, and it's like, wow, there's no chance we're going there for the finals now.
Yeah, take your kids out of school now. You're changing them. We're moving. We're fucking moving. Get the U-Haul
to Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, we're going back to Arena Bar Grill.
Hey, Wilkes-Barre, they won the play-in round against Hershey, I think, in overtime. So they're into the next round in the AHL playoffs.
Let's go.
Another one of our
Wilkes-Barre, Scranton Penguins.
Murley just got an assist from Grace Beach.
We need to make a trip back there somehow one of these days.
Considering we're still waiting for RA,
there's a wanted sign on every building with business face.
A bunch of little business running around over there.
Yeah, I've been getting letters in the mail.
Father's Day is just amazing. It's just an absolute Scranton mailbox full.
That's when I use my burner phone. What was your favorite memory of Wilkes-Barre? One that you maybe haven't told, and maybe a crazy night you guys had that you never told on the podcast.
Well, there was the one I think Scroy talked about on the podcast. Did he talk about it where the guy pulled the gun on him?
Oh, yeah. Whit told that story.
I was there for that. That was true story. It was craziest thing I've ever seen. I jumped behind the car and into a huge snowbank, and this psycho Scroy just walked right up to the guy like, You're not tough. You will not pull that trigger. It was the wildest.
It was a super soaker.
But yeah, my best memories are from the Woodlands. I was a maniac back then. I was 22, just out of college. I thought pro hockey was just drinking and wheeling and just going nuts every night. So one of my funniest things is we would go to Hershey, and it was a bus trip, and all the guys would show up in their tracksuits because it's just an hour and a half bus trip. But I was ahead of the game because those guys would have to go home, change, and then go to the Woodlands. So I would leave my tracksuit in my locker. I would wear bar clothes to the bus at 4:00, switch into my tracksuit, get on the bus, go down to Hershey, play the game, come back in, unload our gear, boom, switch. I had my bar clothes, first guy at the Woodlands.
That's that extra 20 minutes.
I would say 40, the way that how you had to go back to the apartments and then go back the other way. Woodlands was a bit deep there by the dealerships.
Yep.
Hey, were you on the bus when he put in his porno with Terry and coaching?
I was there. I don't remember that.
I don't remember putting on. I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Maybe that was on a different team.
But we had a great time too when I don't know if that's been told, when he let us go to the casino at Foxwoods.
My God, yeah, I forgot about that.
So we had we were in Springfield and we had a great weekend. It was a 4-5. We had won every game up till Sunday, and we win the Sunday game. We sweep it. We're on our way home, and us idiots are in the back playing cards, and we see a Foxwoods billboard. And I don't know who it was, probably Ramsey a bit, or somebody was like, turn the bus around. We're going over there. I don't know. Like, I forget his accent.
Oh, they're like, there's Foxwoods. Any chance?
And then the bus is still streaming down the highway. All of a sudden, Terrian's back there, and we're like, oh, fuck. He's going to get mad at us for yelling at the bus and shit. And he goes, hey, do you guys want to go to Foxwoods? And we're like, yeah. He's like, all right, I turned the bus around. You guys have 1 hour in there. So he turns the bus around. We go to Foxwoods, and it was like Lord of the Rings. What is it? The Lord of the Flies?
Yeah.
Like just maniacs running around in that place for 1 hour. I remember somehow Army came out with a bottle of Grey Goose like this big in his pants somehow. So then now we have 5 more hours to get home to Wilkes-Barre, and we're just drinking and gambling. It's a shit show the whole way. So we get home, and we had the whole week off. We play Friday, we lose. We play Saturday, we lose. He calls us in, the captains, assistant captains, on Sunday afternoon. He's like, you motherfuckers, I give you guys this. I let you guys go. You fuck me back here. He goes, if you guys don't win today, we're like, you're never doing anything ever again.
No, by the way, he's like, I did this for you. Like, he didn't want to go chuck the cards around for an hour.
True. We lost 6-0 that game.
No. Tarian, his light bulb went off and say, I'm going to get to give them this. I can go rip a few darts while they gamble. And then if they play like shit moving forward, I'm going to fucking use this against these little pricks.
He's smart mental warfare.
Chestnut checkers, baby.
The last thing I'll say, I remember when we played in Winnipeg and we beat the, what's the team? The Moose. We beat the Moose.
Oh,
yeah. Pretty big game. Murls and I were as sick as you could humanly possibly be without being in the hospital. I'm talking like it was basically like the worst cold of all time. So I made that, maybe it was a little exaggerant there, but we couldn't breathe. Sounded worse than this. One of those things you blow your nose and immediately it's stuffed up again and nothing came out. Just a nightmare. So he's like, guys, go home and get some rest. We have a 7 a.m. flight. We got to be downstairs in the lobby at 4:45 or whatever. We're like, yeah, okay. We went back and played blackjack until 4:42 in the morning. Ran back, got our bags, went back. Next thing you know, there's 7 guys at Wegmans at the pharmacy. Remember, Fleury was getting like carried around by Veronique. Everyone was so sick, but I think we all won a couple grand that night. So that was AHL living. It made it fun. I still say my funnest year, maybe lockout year.
Lockout was awesome. Army was telling the story how when we were playing party poker before they knew that they could track the IP addresses. So we thought we were so smart. We had 5 of us on one table trying to like bully the other guys.
You guys are
and we
brutal.
Still couldn't win. That's how bad we were.
Just cleaning you guys out.
Yeah, we had 5 guys' cards. We knew 10 of the cards, and the other 3 guys were still beating us. And then all of a sudden, a couple months later, we're all on the same IP address. And we couldn't sign on the same table.
Oh, fuck. That's funny.
Shitty geo tracking. Biz, you mentioned earlier the Bruins, me and G crying last night down in Raleigh. Hurricanes absolutely dummy the Bruins 5-1 to take a 3-2 series lead. Charlie McAvoy back in the lineup after clearing the NHL's protocols, but didn't matter. He got the private jet to North Carolina, but really didn't matter. Anthony Raanta was awesome for Carolina. Stopped 33 of 34 shots, including a handful of early big ones. Bees had some good chances, couldn't cash in. Then the Canes got a 1-0 lead, and everybody in the room thought it was a shitty call. Max Domi, Derek Forbert going at it, and they only called the penalty on Forbert. Tony DeAngelo scores, makes it 2-0, and that was almost pretty much the ball game right there. By the way, DeAngelo, man, this guy's going to get absolutely paid.
It's been incredible.
What's your take on the Bees? Are they toast or what?
The worst refereed game of the playoffs.
Oh, it was?
Biz. There was a couple of calls against the Bruins, and I bet on Carolina. And I was like, I have to admit, as a true fan, that is a fuck job on a couple of those calls.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would say the one series where home ice advantage matters the most.
Yep.
Both teams have looked completely different between home and on the road. And you just talk about, chestnut checkers, the Bergeron line. When they're playing 5-on-5 against Sebastian Aho in game 4, they played 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, they didn't get shit. It was the wet blanket special. But when they go back home in Raleigh, Patrice Bergeron only got 5-on-5 ice time of 46 seconds because they're able to switch it up and get him away from that line match. And on top of that, to trump it, as far as that top line for the Bruins offense, they at home now have Stahl on that line. And Stahl at home has done a masterful job at shutting down that top unit for the Bees. So Bees heading back home, I would imagine that they hold serve. Swayman's looked really good at home. Pretty much, it's like you said, Whit. They're the Jekyll and Hyde. You don't really get that physical team on the road as much as you do off at home. I would imagine just simply because they're feeding off that Bruins crowd. So to me, the line matchup's huge. And then of course I had Tony DeAngelo's response game. Listen, he came unhinged the game before. He fucking was getting chirped by Marchand. He was taking stupid penalties. He threw his stick on the empty net. And then he goes home and he pots a goal and 2 apples. And you guys said it. He's going to be one of the most sought after free agent defensemen. And now he's continuing to do it in playoff hockey. So let's see.
You don't think a little like how insane he is will cost him some money? He's a loose cannon. He's a hell of a hockey player, but he is a loose cannon. You can't tell me that if he
100%.
Didn't have like some of those outbursts where he looks crazy, he wouldn't make a little more money.
Yeah, I think that if he would have had the year he had this year in New York when he ended up getting tossed off the team,
he might have got $8 million.
He probably would have got a 6 times 6.5, 6 times 7. He's not like he's a great offensive defenseman. I wouldn't say he's the most reliable defensively. I still think his market price is going to be like a 5 times 5. I think he gets about, but yes. So I guess short answer, yes, it will cost him some money.
You think he's only get $5 million a year for 5 years? That's it, really?
I don't know. I don't know how much
contract I'm super interested in seeing.
Yeah, because you don't know if he's like, you know what? I'm living in this place where I can hide in the weeds. I'm having great success here. I've been to a big market and I see where maybe my faults can lead to chaos, not only from a playing career standpoint, but also I would imagine in his personal life, because that whole experience he went through must have been extremely difficult, man. This guy went from potentially securing a bag like you guys are talking about to like you didn't even know whether a team was going to give him another chance.
Yep.
I was positive a team was, but I don't know how many offers he got. And even people like there were season ticket holders in Carolina saying they were fucking ditching their season tickets because they fucking signed him. So talk about the amount of stress and shit that this guy's probably gone through. So for him to have a bounce back like he has, I hope he fucking gets paid. I do. Because from what I've heard from guys that have played with him, he's actually a fucking great guy. Just has probably made some really, really dumb mistakes. So if he stays with Carolina, they're not going to give him the bag, obviously, boys. We know how they go. They're the cheapest fuck organization in the league.
Let's talk about bouncing back. Seth Jarvis hit a pair of goals in the route. Took the shot right off the nuts. I thought it hit him in the chest that game. He took it right off the nuts because everyone's like, oh, he got one goal for each fucking nut shot. But a little bounce back from him. How about Niederreiter stalling fast along with Shea and Pesci? Absolutely shutting the bees down, doing a great job. Cassidy mixed up the lines. Nothing's worked. And the Canes have scored first in every game. Could finish the Bruins off tonight. So we'll see what happens.
Jens texted me. He thinks there's a chance Carolina doesn't lose a home game in the playoffs. It's that tough to play against. And Army was it Army? No, I think Motts was mentioning last night. Yeah. Biz, you remember the first 5 minutes at Carolina? That place, they get going. Were they pretty bad actually when you played?
So during my 5 years, they didn't have
Calgary
the best
tied
teams.
it. Fuck.
Yes.
I'm gonna check the score.
13 minutes to go. Fuck
it. But San Jose was that way for me when they had their really good teams, where the first 10 minutes you were like, hey boys, let's just get out of the first 10. It was like for the fucking first 5 minutes. We'd be down 3-0 before we knew it.
Oh, so lucky.
That building's a little bit smaller than the normal NHL ranks. That's why it's a little louder in there. Now in the springtime, even more, those Carolina people are tailgating. Like they think it's like a college football game. So they're belligerent before puck drop. That energy, it's going to be really tough to win down there. But I like Bruins to win game 6 at home.
That's a fucking, from all you Hurricanes fans who say we don't talk about you guys enough on the podcast, that was a fucking double wrister and a half. I put the mascara on for that one. You guys are crushing it. The fans are becoming just as big of a piece as any guy on the ice, for crying out loud. And very, very, very underrated cheerleading staff.
Backlund scored on an unreal pass from Mangiapane. As you mentioned, Ryan Suter, he's behind the net, and somehow his stick is around the waist of a guy on his team, and there's nobody near Backlund. Just one of the most pathetic defensive displays I've seen when you see this fucking goal. Now, Dallas has to pull this out or I'm done. This year's done.
Well, perfect time to mention Dallas. Game 4, Calgary. They finally look like the team we saw all regular season. Tied up the series with the 4-1 win in Dallas. We had that unreal Johnny Gaudreau penalty shot. Then you chatted with him after the game, Biz. Gee, want to roll that clip of what Daryl Sutter said to him?
Joining us from Dallas. Johnny, fantastic game, and you get a reward. Paul Bissonnette is up first with his question.
Johnny Hockey, anything from Sutter after you score that goal when you get back to the bench?
Nope, not a word.
Come on, you think he's saving it for post game or in the plane or what?
No, nothing. He just came in and said, "Good game, best of 3." That's it. And then walked out. So.
No fist bump? Not even a fist bump?
Nothing.
I mean, just typical deadpan Daryl Sutter. You guys did a great job there during the broadcast with that one too, Biz.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, that's the first thing that came to my head. And his response is everything. Like, we speculate as to, Johnny, he's had some nerves in playoffs at some point. And then you get the head coach chirping him after they lose game 3. And fuck, dude, he was laughing. He's like, nope, didn't say a word. And Sutter's just going to keep doing what he's done. Now, I know we talked about it, but because they were so nice, you guys just want to talk about those tits again? Because we didn't have Murls on. Murls, how nice were those tits behind the bench?
I heard you got a pee-pee whacking from that, so I'm going to
Yeah, not on here though. I could say I said last podcast. I said I whipped my cock out.
I just don't get why she's why would she go behind the home team bench? Go behind the away team bench and maybe distract the guys a little bit,
dude. To elevate testosterone. That's how they won the fucking game. That's how you do it. You get them.
Hey.
You get them all horned up with those cold nipples along the glass. Motorboat and bonus.
Jake
I said that to Charles and stopped him dead in his tracks.
Yeah, if you could do that, it's a compliment too.
Yeah.
How many people could stop him in his tracks?
Yeah, I quit. That's it. Career high.
I mentioned the goalie battle in the intro. Jake Ottinger did everything he could that night, stopped 50 of 53. Rob Tyler to Foley on that one save. He going into tonight, it's 1-1 right now. You said, wait, right? Dallas,
11 minutes left.
Ottinger 2-2 with a 1.53 goals against. His .960 save percentage leads all goalies, and Markstrom's number 2 with the .952. These guys are just going mano a mano. It's been great stuff. If you appreciate, tight games, not a lot of scoring because each team has only scored 7 goals going into tonight. Been shut out once each. And also another quote too, Jamie Benn, they asked him about Tkachuk not wanting to fight him. And he said, he's a smart kid, and kind of smiled. It's pretty funny because Ben really doesn't have too many viral media moments. So it's pretty funny catching that.
Yeah. No, it was a good moment. There's been some good sound bites. I mean, we talked about Steve Simmons earlier. Some good stuff. And then Coop saying that we've been handing it over to the Leafs.
Yeah, calling the boys right out. I also mentioned one team is already donezo. That was my 76-1 Predators from the beginning of the year. Avs finished them off in 4 with the 5-3 win in Smashville Monday. Preds actually took their first lead of the series in the third period, but didn't last too long. The Avs stormed back for the sweep. Colorado was a wagon, but you got to feel bad for Saros and the Preds, man. The way they played all year, Saros was unreal. And I don't know, gets a fucking high ankle sprain a week left in the season. And I always
like to see the small fan bases have success. It sucks. Those fans have meant so much to that team. And yeah, it's a shitty way to end. And like credit to John Hines, the way that he turned this team around. Like we go back to last year, I think we all had him as the top coach to get fired at some point. And then he goes on another rip to get a team like that in the playoffs. And we got to pump Matt Duchene's tires, guys. This guy had a career year, and he's really starting to mature. Had a huge playoffs, 43 goals. I think he had also 43 assists this year. So he's been a beast for them, and another big reason as to why they were able to get themselves in the playoffs. I still think they get the consolation prize in getting Saros nominated for the Vezina, and then I still think Roman Yossi's going to win it. So you guys had some success this year, and well deserved.
My 2 takeaways are not takeaways, but thoughts. First, Nathan McKinnon right after the game Saturday was Cale Makar is the best player in the league right now.
Wow.
It is. We keep saying it's like, how many times can you keep repeating yourself? But he is creating like a legit forward, and he's still defensively really solid. He's just doing it all. And if McKinnon's saying that, I'm buying it. Second thought, the Preds move on to can they re-sign Fleet Forsberg? They didn't trade him. They thought could maybe go on a run. They kept him. And now if you lose it for nothing, it's going to be a kick in the dick. But with how much Johansson and how much Duchene make, and Yossi deservingly makes that much, what are you going to do? And can you afford Fleet Forsberg?
I think you got to move on. I think seeing where Tanner Jeannot's going and what he's going to be able to provide, you got to have cap space to be able to move forward and sign him. And I don't know. It's just risky signing a guy at that age, just such a long-term deal. He's going to command.
Well, when you already did it to Duchene and
that's what I'm saying.
It's like
the Johansson one's killing you. That's the one that if you can get rid of or find somebody to take and then also send over a draft pick for what he's making, he's just not producing to that level. Duchene, for what he's making, he earned it this year. He played up to what he's getting paid. So you got one bad-looking contract there. I don't think at his age you give him what he's going to be commanding in free agency. They were able to move past Arvidsson. And I'm not saying Philip Forsberg's as big of a Band-Aid as Arvidsson, but one of the reasons they moved on was his age. And look at Arvidsson. He's fucking injured again. He's not playing for the Kings. He's out of the lineup.
And we're still losing to them.
I'm sorry, Glenn Murls.
I was just say Cale Makar, he needs a higher league, and he's just on fire. And a little note, he as good of a player he is, he's kind of like a Crosby. He's just as good of a person.
Yes.
He was committed to UMass Amherst. They had a coaching change. They called him. They offered him, you don't have to come. We know you committed to the other coach, and now you're going to be this big draft pick. He's like, nope, I made my commitment to you. And I'm still coming to you.
Turn the whole program around.
Turn that whole program around. Like
that coach he had was pretty good though, right? He came on our podcast.
Yeah. So I mean, they knew it was going to still be a good coach, but he didn't commit to that coach and to that assistant coach. And
yeah, he could have went to Michigan like the rest of those idiots.
Yeah. So he's a great kid, and what he's doing when these guys are trying to cover him, the wingers come out on the point, and they're trying to like block the shot late. It's just ridiculous what he's doing to them. It's silly.
I'll say this: if they win the cup and he wins the Conn Smythe, I'll say easily the best player in the league. I'll forfeit that. Right now, I just can't do it.
We got a through the net goal from Burakovsky. Did you see that one right through the top of the net? Had to check. A couple guys celebrated. They had to go back and look at it. Pretty wild shit. Avs are the first team in NHL history to sweep a best of 7 while accumulating 20 plus goals and 175 plus shots. Goal differential of 12. And they scored 5 plus goals in 3 out of 4 games and 7 twice. And you see that pick, Biz, of Yossi giving kind of the man point to Makar. I guess they exchanged some nice words with each other in the line. And, you can see Yossi giving the point, like a nice point, not a bad point. And then Makar said the fans threw Skittles at him at the end of the game. Come on, Smashville. You're a fun city. I guess a little.
I retract my statement about their fan base. Jesus Christ. Lynch. But I'll quadruple down. Makar, he's fucking incredible. Gretzky said, he goes, that's the best.
Flames goal.
Yes.
Wow. Imagine Brady.
How much time?
The red man's back. Red man.
Nothing's coming up with right now.
Wayne Gretzky. I know you guys have heard of him. I've mentioned him, my new best friend. He said that defensive performance in game 2 against Nashville was the greatest performance in a playoff game he's ever seen by a defenseman. Word for word out of Wayne Gretzky's mouth.
No shit, really? I mean,
that was ridiculous.
That's high praise. He said that he should win MVP of the league this year. He's on board. He's the best player in the league. There's no doubt.
So I love that. He was on my side of the Norris debate. Oh my God, this sucks. This sucks.
2-1 or 3-1?
2-1.
Okay. Wait, do you want to talk about it or no?
No. That wraps up every series, correct? All right, because there's something else I have to talk about. No.
Yeah, that wraps up every series. If you guys are done with Nashville, Colorado, you guys all set with that?
Colorado's they're waiting. They're getting healthy. I think that Kemper will be fine once the swelling in his eye goes down. So on to the next one for them. Not only are the Oilers down going to LA, not only is Calgary probably going to win this game, not only am I going to have an earring, I now owe you $500 when the Rookie of the Year Final 3 came out today. We had Moritz Seider, who will win. We had Trevor Zegras in Anaheim with some amazing goals, points, viral moments. And the final straw that broke my back was Michael Bunting being the third. Congratulations. And I do not in any way want this to be an attack on Michael Bunting, because that is a great player who's helped the Leafs out a ton and had more success than Zach Hyman had on that line.
Most even strength points.
It is a fucking disgrace that he's finalized. He's up for the Rookie of the Year. I'll say it. Same amount of goals, 6 more points than Lucas Raymond, 6 years older than him, and he's up instead of Lucas Raymond for the Rookie of the Year. I look at it like this. The tweet that blew my mind. Nathan McKinnon won Rookie of the Year in 2014?
Correct.
Michael Bunting won it in 2022. What is that, 8 years?
You mean he got nominated?
They're born 2 weeks apart. That's fucking crazy. Michael Bunting's born September 15th. 1995.
I think that's, buddy. That's like
September 1st.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of the game. Like, some guys had a harder road to get there. Like,
that is why saying that is not fair. Because that's nothing against Bunting, but when you look at the season a fucking 19-year-old had, Biz.
Okay, so then what they need to do is they need to change the rule and then make the age 24. Where would you want the age set now? And the reason why I disagree. The reason why I disagree with you on the fact that Raymond should have been nominated over him is the fact that look at how many even strength points he had.
He was playing with Matthews and Marner.
So he was helping them. He was a good net front presence. He was good.
Murls could get fucking 20.
That's like holding it against Kunitz for being the guy who goes against the puck for Sid. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, I'm moving on.
Yeah, he didn't win the MVP or wasn't up for MVP. Over
yeah, but
Sid.
he was still putting up those types of numbers. So that's what we're talking about. The fact that he got to play with him is the reason he got up to put up those numbers. He contributed to the line. If he wasn't contributing to the line, one of the best ones, top 3 in the NHL all season long, they would have removed him, just like they have at some points in this series. It's like, if you're not performing up to the first line standard, you don't get to play with the guys. This isn't fucking charity work.
I didn't say he wasn't.
Okay. So on top of that, if you watch games, now sometimes we get point comparing. I was able to catch a lot of Leafs games because they were my team this year. So people who watch Detroit every night might tell me to go fuck myself. But the different intangibles that he's bringing, as far as his physicality, his anticipation, his forecheck, the way he's able to draw penalties, and the fact that he score, he got the same amount of goals as him. He doesn't play power play. So I get it. You don't like it because of the age thing. But if he was 24 years old and he got nominated, you wouldn't be saying a goddamn word, I don't think, right now. So
yeah, he's 26. That's 2 big years. And by the way, Biss, look me in the eye. Look me in the eye as one of my best friends. If he's not on the Toronto Maple Leafs, is he in the top 3?
I don't. Okay, so one thing, I don't know. But last year he played 20 games with the Arizona Coyotes and he had 10 goals with the Arizona Coyotes. So it's like,
that's almost even more of a reason that he got 20 games last year and he's still a rookie.
Because that's not the rule. You have to play a certain amount. Just like
the voters should use their brains, dude.
Okay. So I think if you have an issue with it, you should say they need to change a rule to age 24. But I'll even give you this proposition. If you think Makar is genuinely going to win Defenseman of the Year,
yeah, I kind of gave it. I think I gave in, which then mushed it, and it might go back to Makar. But right now,
I'll say is I'm willing to double down the 500 and stick with Yossi winning Defenseman of the Year, and then you can have Makar, and I'll rebet the $500.
I could be down $1,000. I mean, Yossi might win it. Fuck, I'll do it. Whatever.
Okay, good to go.
I'm a gambler.
All right, boys.
Congrats. By the way, congrats to all 3 of those finals, and including Michael Bunting. It's awesome. It's more just, I think, one younger player that deserved it kind of got screwed. But the kid's a hell of a player, Michael Bunting. Or the guy, he's 26.
Snyder's going to win it anywhere, so who cares? Like, it's just
I know. Just something for us to talk about.
Yeah, maybe the league does it to create debate and get people talking about the trophies.
Another thing we enjoyed all week down here, some Labatt Blue Lights. First time I had it in Montreal many moons ago. I fell in love with it. Still love the stuff. It's the world's best-selling Canadian beer, and with good reason. It's a delicious Pilsner, whether you're enjoying a blue or a blue light. And they're also a longtime supporter of Spittin Chiclets, who presented our live streams for the last 2 weeks. So huge thanks to them. If you're tired of the same old brew, go out and change it up with a Labatt Blue or a Blue Light. You won't be disappointed. A couple other awards finalists here. The Norris, Yossi, Hedman, Makar, no surprise there. The Vezina, Markstrom, Saros, Shesterkin, no surprise there. A couple other notes here. Patrick Milo officially retired after 23 NHL seasons. He set the record for most NHL games, 1,768. He broke Gordie Howe's record, holds San Jose records for games, goals, points, power play goals, shorthanded goals, game-winning goals, and shots on goal. Also won 2 Olympic gold medals, 2010 and 2014. He made sure to give Jumbo Joe Thornton some praise in his statement. He said, quote, "Your positive outlook has always been infectious. Thank you for all those great passes, Joe. You're not just a teammate, but a lifelong friend." I guess the question with him is does Milo get in the Hall of Fame?
That's the long debate about longevity. No, I do not think he gets in the Hall of Fame. I am a type of person that if it was my vote, I would just say yes to everybody, because I just I want everybody to be happy. I don't think he ever won a league award. Did he? Did he win the Rocket Richard one year for goals? If he has,
he might have won a Lady Bingham. Not to be like, I mean, I know
that. But I don't view that as something where you're like the sustained dominance. Like, I'd rather, if a guy plays 10 years and has like 6 league awards and is over a point a game, put it, maybe even without a cup, put him in the Hall of Fame. It would be like me saying yes to Shane Doan. He played 1,500 games and had over 1,000 points. It's like, and he's had international success with winning like World Cups and stuff. But I just don't think it's going to happen with the amount of guys that still need to be voted in. the only thing he's holding is the record of most games played, right?
Yeah, and he also won no league awards, Biz. I just looked.
So I think that Getzlaf is borderline. I would say that Getzlaf has a better chance of getting in than Marlowe.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I actually think Getzlaf gets in no matter what.
You think so?
Some people, I did see. When I said that on an episode a few weeks ago, I did get a couple of tweets of people kind of arguing it.
But I don't think. Yeah, like somebody would like maybe somebody in there would be like, well, he didn't hit. What did he hit? Did he hit 300 goals?
I don't know. I don't remember the exact argument, but it was more about numbers and things like that, where you could make the argument he won't be.
Yeah, but once again, I'd fucking say, hey, I'd put you in the fucking Hall of Fame, Whit.
Getzlaf 282 goals.
I can't even get in my high school Hall of Fame. Fuck, I ain't getting in the show Hall of Fame.
Pierre Maguire was let go from his position as senior vice president of player development for the Ottawa Senators just 10 months after being hired. Per Ian Mendez, he covers the team for The Athletic. Nobody's really quite sure what his role entailed. They didn't really figure that out or weren't told. It's widely thought he was hired by late owner Eugene Melnick, and I guess this move would certainly back that, the fact they got rid of him this quickly. The draft lottery was held Tuesday night as well. The Montreal Canadiens had the best odds to win the pick, and the Habs hit the jackpot. Barring an unlikely trade, the host team will pick first on July 7th, and it's the first time they've held the top pick since 1980, when the draft was also held in Montreal. They selected Doug Wickenheiser. Here's another crazy stat. Every first overall pick in Canadiens history was drafted in Montreal. Guy Lafleur, 71, Régine Houlet, 69, Michel Placé, 68, and Gary Monahan at the very first draft in 63. New Jersey moved up. They'll pick second. Biz Yotes will pick third. Rest of the top 10, Seattle, Philly, Columbus, Ottawa, Detroit, Buffalo, Anaheim. And general manager of Montreal, Ken Hughes, said he will not be taking his draft-eligible son, who goes to Northeastern, the other Jack Hughes. And the youngster clapped back a little bit, said, y'all lost to the Canadians. Pretty funny stuff, obviously. Having a little fun.
That's good. Hey, can we talk about, like, shocker? Coyotes always get fucked. They always get bumped back. They never move up. They've never had higher than a third overall pick.
Biz, Yotes will get it next year. I guarantee the Yotes get Connor Bedard. I guarantee it's Gary Bettman's plan. That's his team. He's the next generational talent. There's light at the end of the tunnel for you. I'm telling you, Bedard will be an Arizona Coyote.
Fucking AG, you're going to speak this shit.
What if it ends up being that Russian? I think those two are like
I think it's Bedard.
Hey, but here's the thing. Here's what's pissing me off is the fact that we got bumped back, and this year there's two guys. They're even saying that Shane Wright isn't necessarily the consensus. I don't think Montreal's not going to go with a Canadian guy who's has been the guy or talked about for at least the last couple of years. There's another guy they're saying it's like a 1A, 1B type situation.
Logan Cooley is his name.
Yeah. Well, fucking. Just like when Matthews got drafted, Line was number 2. So at least you couldn't miss. Now the Coyotes go to third. Like, I don't know who the third guy is. And we've had a tough go, man. We got Dylan Strome, and then we got Kyle Turris. Like, we never got our Leon Draisaitl. So it sucks, man. It's a kick in the dick for the busy boy here.
Vegas general manager George McPhee confirmed what pretty much everybody knew. Jack Eichel played the last 6 weeks of the season with a busted thumb. It's, obviously limited his effectiveness. He still put up 25 points in 34 games.
There you go. Shove it up all those fucking losers online chirping him's ass. Play with a broken thumb. He did more in his life in fucking the 6 weeks with a broken thumb that you'll do in your entire life, you fucking idiots.
We're back.
McPhee also said Robin Lehner had shoulder surgery and should be ready for next season. And what old school was in the news. BU hired Jay Pandolfo as the head coach. He's, of course, a former player there, 2-time Stanley Cup champion with New Jersey. He said, quote, "We want to get that tradition going again, that identity back." Because BU, BC have definitely fallen off the last few years, Whit.
Yeah, they have. And Jay Pandolfo, there could not be a better option. This guy, one of the best people I've ever met. Him and Mike Greer helped me out a ton. I was young when I turned pro. Those guys were established, really professional, solid NHLers. Like you said, Pando got 2 cups. I'm not going to say took me under their wing, but working out with those guys and skating with them, I saw what it takes.
At Mike Boyle's?
Exactly, in the summer. Jay's just a classy guy. And I think that having coached in the NHL and having the success as an assistant in Boston to now go to the college level, he has the ability to kind of know what it takes to be a successful pro for some of these kids. He's able to talk to future recruits and show them and kind of prove to them, I won Stanley Cups. I can get you to the next level. We'll also kind of giving you a great education and making you a great college player. So I expect BU to be bouncing back very soon.
Quick thing about Jay quick thing about Jay Pandolfo. One, I broke that news. And two, he was my neighbor growing up. So anytime he would come home, you'd see his Porsche Cayenne pull into his driveway. Everyone in the neighborhood.
Gomer was in there with him.
Oh, yeah. And everyone would call each other. Jay Pandolfo's here with Scott Gomez. And one day I brought my hockey stick over. I knocked on his door and I was like, hey, can you sign my stick? And he was actually like, hey, like, let me show you a few things. I have a cement patch.
Way.
He goes, I have a cement patch out back. Do you want to come shoot some pucks with me? And he was like, he brought me back there. He told me like, this is where I grew up shooting pucks. I shoot 1,000 pucks a day. And he was showing me how to take a snapshot. And so it's just as a really little kid,
cool.
Little 8-year-old kid, that's something you always remember.
That's an awesome story, G.
Yeah.
You're fucking humming at the back. You're right. We are getting Bedard, G. You're fucking genius.
I got you, buddy. I got you.
What other shit you break in? What else is going on in the hockey world? Here, I'll edit the podcast tonight.
Please do. No, nothing. I don't really have much else.
What do you got, Mur?
Yeah, I just want to give the gambling stats as of right now. There's been 38 Stanley Cup games. We got 22 favorites that have won. We have 16 underdogs. We've had 4 draws, the Murley special, which is real low this year. Not a lot of overtime this year. And somehow there's 25 overs, 12 unders, and the puck line has been out of control. 31 out of 38 games have gone puck line. These coaches are pulling the goalie early. They're pulling them down by 3 goals. They don't care. So there's a little info. I'll have those stats up every day on my Twitter if you're looking for a trend to ride.
Game over. 3-1 Calgary. Lewis in the back of the net.
Before you get to
rights, Johnny.
The scandal here, I don't know the Tom Brady stuff. I don't know. Do you want to talk about that, Biz?
Buddy, it's crazy. This is nuts. What's happening?
Biggest deal in sports media history, in case you hadn't heard. Once he's done in the NFL, he's going to start a 10-year, $375 million deal at Fox Sports to be the lead NFL game analyst in their number 1 booth with Kevin Burkhardt. Fox lost Joe Buck and Troy Aikman to ESPN, and Brady's going to make $4 million than them two combined. And it's going to be, he made $302 million in 22 NFL seasons. He's going to make $375 in 10 doing TV. Probably might be a little bump for you, Biz, at some point. Who knows?
Oh, he knows every play ever written in the playbook, and he's just going to get the talk, much like you've seen from Tony Romo, maybe a little bit more cleaned up, is not as buckled and hungover, but he's probably going to be just as good at it as he was playing in the NFL. And it's just going to be awesome to get to listen to it. And it's awesome that these guys like want to do it. It's awesome that you get Peyton Manning.
$375 million.
Okay, but there's plenty of guys who have made $275 million who don't want to fucking work after they make it. So it's awesome. I think it's fucking great. And I think that if the dollars were there, that more hockey players who are retired of like legendary status would do it. I mean, you're starting to see it now with these TV deals and what the guys are getting paid, but it's awesome. I mean, I'm happy for him.
All right, what you want to take?
I will say, Brady, it is interesting to pay that much, and you're not going to get any more viewers. Like whoever's watching the Sunday Fox NFL game of the week, like they're not getting new fans. I don't think because Brady's on the broadcast.
The only disagreement I have there is the Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli. Like that really upped the ESPN's game.
That is you're watching something different. You know what I mean? Like the game that Brady will be doing. I just personally, Biz, I mean, I'm in agreement. Like the guy's such a legend. It's going to be very cool to hear him. I will say the pressure's kind of on because he's so good at quarterback. I mean, people are going to be hoping that he's bad at this to try to give him shit. I think he'll be great at it personally as well. But just saying, like, I don't know if they'll be getting that many more viewers on these games to be shelling out that much dough. But obviously they look at it like they're making that much money and they look at it as a wise investment. I just don't think that the actual viewership of these Sunday Fox games will change.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what the deal entails too. Like maybe he has to do commercials for him and stuff. So if you're getting other type of advertising, because you see all the ads that he's doing like on his own right now, that might be a completely separate deal. And it's like, no, you're just getting him from the games. But I don't know. I would imagine that they got him doing other shit too, especially with all the streaming and everything else that's going on in the world.
To see the sources of income he's created for himself. He's got the wellness TB12s. He's got this. He's got the
clothing line,
the Brady clothing brand. I think he's invested in a couple other things. So good for him. Yeah. In terms of the Barstool news, let me say we've been talking about this for so long now. It's like, holy shit. But for people who don't follow Barstool and only listen to the podcast, I'll explain the story briefly. Hank's worked here forever. OG started back in the early days of Barstool in Milton when there was, I don't know, 5-6 employees. And he was dating a girl here for 4 years. I think they had a pretty close, special relationship from what it seemed like. I don't know her. And they broke up. It kind of sounded like once this news broke, she broke up with him. And in the months that followed, all of a sudden the news broke this week. And I think the way the news broke made it even probably a little more scummy. But a guy he's friendly with here, Marty Mush, who was part of the gambling team, he's now dating his ex-girlfriend, Rhea, who still works here as well. So naturally, everyone's a big Hank fan too. And I in meeting Marty before, I always liked him. He's a good guy, nice guy. He'd done a couple streams with us. I liked him. I will say I noticed maybe it's all bullshit and it's just online noise, but it seemed like people weren't a huge fan. So whatever. Now, when this broke, I'm saying that because now everyone despises him. I think it's a scummy move personally. I mean, you know a guy, you work with a guy, he breaks up with a girl. There's a million girls out there. These guys live in New York City. It's like crazy. But the biggest issue I would say I had with it was that he never called Hank. Marty never called him. You know, he never gave him a ring to kind of say, hey, listen, shit happened. And listen, people meet each other. They fall in love. Like that does happen. But to me, it's like, one, I would never do it. And if I would, I'd at least have the balls to call the guy up. And I think the fact he never did that was kind of like, to me, the scummiest part of the whole thing. So people are probably listening, like, what is this drama? But when you work for Barstool and you kind of live online the way we have to occasionally, it certainly was probably the most viral thing anyone was talking about. I felt.
And buddy, we got tons of junior kids who are listening to the show. Like,
don't ever date one of your teammates.
Yeah, that's the whole reason. I thought we were going to bring it up. It's like, yeah,
okay, true.
You know what I mean? It's like, you find yourself in that situation and like feelings, you talked about these feelings, and especially at a young age and trying to control that. If you are going to do it, at least go have the conversation man to man and just don't go crushing this guy's ex-girlfriend. And then they got to find out the hard way. So it could, buddy, shit like that could break up a team. I think
it kind of has here now.
Yeah, there you go. Well, the gambling team, maybe not a locker room, but same type of vibe. It's just, it's a difficult situation. And like, I don't know how Hank ended up taking it. Like, how was he? Somebody made a good point. It's basically marriage or bust at this point for Marty Mush and Rhea.
Well, yeah, I mean, the guy, I would have thought he had his dream job. I said on the Portnoy show, if he's not calling DraftKings right now looking for a contract, he's an idiot. I'm not even saying that trying to be funny. Like, they're shelling out dough to gambling people. Your name's in the news. You're going to be done here. Nobody wants to work with you here anymore. Try to go get a bag from a company that you could kind of compete against Barstool. Now, that's an immediate shock factor to change your life that much. But he had to understand that Hank, being as close as he is to Dave and Dan, they were going to have his back and kind of basically be willing to not work with Marty anymore. But I like what you said about junior guys. So as we get older, it's like you do see things and there's just certain ways to handle things. And one thing is, if you had a buddy and he dated a girl, dude, she's off limits. You meet another girl. Like Murls are saying, there are girls everywhere. And so whatever, that's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Murls, did you have any other notes written down?
I had this shirt on last night. I still have it on today. I will not take it off until we get to the second round, buddy. All right.
Wow, that is commitment. How bad does it stink?
If the people at home want to get one, they go to Barstool Sportsbook or barstoolsports.com/chiclets and get the and I think there's white as well. We actually have that Toronto Sucks shirt on sale. I don't know who put that on sale. I would never approve of that. I love the people of Toronto.
But they don't suck, I gotta say.
Toronto Sucks shirts on sale, and then the Sin City shirts that RA's wearing on sale as well. And we also have the basketball jerseys, Pink Whitney basketball jerseys, just went on sale as well. You guys hooked me up with right here.
To the fans,
that's a sick lid.
To the fans, we hope you guys enjoy the 2 pods a week during playoffs. You guys are awesome. It's been fun engaging with you, whether it's like you guys swearing at us because we hate your Rangers, or you're playing tummy sticks because we're pumping your Tires team. Keep crushing Pink Whitney, support our brand, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to keep coming out with 2 pods a week here for the next 2 weeks past this. And we hope you guys enjoyed the show. Plenty of action left. And is there anything else I forgot, boys?
I think that's about it.
And for hockey fans out there, tonight, you are going to have 4 games that can end a series or force a game 7. So this is the best part of the year. first round. We're going to see what goes on these next few days.
I forgot one more thing. This thing will drop in the morning, right? There's the Swedish. It's the last European hockey game of the season.
Oh,
Game 7, SHL, Färjestad versus Luleå. EBR has a bunch of rules for gambling. I get into it another time. But one of the rules is Game 7, you always bet the under. So 1:30 p.m. puck drop, Barstool Sports book, SHL.
1:30 Eastern.
1:30 Eastern time. And
get this pick out.
Get this pick in. All right.
I like that.
I want to see. I want to give you
I like that.
The exact odds are under 5.5 minus 148, under 5 plus 120. Game 7, Sweden. They play very defensive. It's 2-0, 2-1 tops this game. But it's a little afternoon before our 4 NHL games that you were talking about.
Go Bruins.
Yeah, I gotta do all those games on TNT and TBS. And Grinelli, one last thing. Where are we at on Chiclets Cup?
We are so sold out. We are the most sold out we've ever been. We actually have more teams on the wait list than we do registered. We're thinking of
holy shit, seriously?
Yeah, so we're plotting for something that we can do for all the teams on the wait list. We can't expand the tournament any larger. We've already expanded it once. So we have something planned. It's going to be awesome, and Chiclets, it's going to be insane.
What amount of teams are we at? We were originally at 62.
Yeah, so we're at 62 teams now. We have, I believe, almost 800 participants. And yeah, there's about 55 teams, I believe, that are on the wait list right now.
Holy jumping. So we'll see you at Chiclets Cup in Buffalo. That's a big one coming up. As I've mentioned, if you want to come and party and hang out and hang around the festivities, if you're around the area, come over the border. If you're in Niagara region, if you're around even Rochester, come in and have it. We're going to have 2 night parties. It's going to be a blast. There'll be
July 22nd and 23rd, Biz. July 22nd, 23rd at the Riverworks.
At the Riverworks. So we'll see you there. We got live entertainment coming. It's going to be a blast. And that's the final note on today's podcast, guys. Thank you very much.
Have a good week, all.